I wanna try mastering a song to -3 LUFS and see if by implementing new strategies we can preserve the punchiness of the tune without any distortion. That way we can have the cleanest and loudest song that gets everyone's attention when listening to it. Now, mastering a song at this level of loudness is very risky, as it could undo all the hard work we put into the mixing and recording. It might even repel listeners if it sounds worse than the competition. However, -3 LUFS isn't as crazy or out of reach as you might think. So I really wanna try this out to see if there is a cheat for maintaining the dynamics at this loudness level, or if we would be better off with a lower LUFS. To hit our target, we need to understand few things about loudness. These two songs are technically the same volume, since they are both peaking at 0 decibel, but do they sound equally as loud when I flip back and forth? Our ears perceive the second song louder, even though they are both hitting the same peak level. LUFS or LUFS is the measurement we use to compare perceived loudness in songs, which isn't the same as decibel. Knowing this, here is our project we're gonna master, and one of the advantages we have is that we have the mixing session included, so to maximize loudness we can modify some of the elements in the mix. Now let's check our loudness level and see how much margin we have to reach the target. I'm gonna use a limiter and the loudness meter for this. We have a decent mix, but as you can see we have a long way to go because we are not that close to our goal. But I also want to double check if the balance is right for this genre. One of my favorite tools to check this is this tonal balance control. I've set it to pop genre, and let's see if the EQ curve is falling into the recommended spectrum. Now it's important to note that I'm not mixing a song based on what it says, it just gives a peace of mind. It's safe to say that we are pretty accurate here, as the song falls into the targeted frequency range. Okay, so the mix is correct, it's time to build a mastering chain. I've just finished the core of the mastering chain. By the way, if you like to know how to build that, drop a comment and I'm gonna send you some free stuff. Now it's time to check if we can get closer to our target of -3 LUFS. We got a little bit closer, but to tell you the truth, I expected more because we still have a long way to go. One option to boost perceived loudness is to add parallel compression. Normally I use Studio Rec or Studio Verse for this. I like to set it up in solo. Okay, we compressed and applied an EQ to the audio as well. The reason to cut lows on this is that I believe it will let us push the limiter further. With this technique we made some progress in terms of LUFS, but we are still not where we wanna be, so I've got an idea what to do. Now the limiter is starting to get overwhelmed because of the amplitude peaks of the low frequencies. Since we have the project with the stems, what I think we should use is an EQ to cut more low frequencies from the kick. We're gonna have to refocus here because it affects the dynamics, and dynamics play a huge role in perceived loudness. Dynamics are good, we want things sound dynamic, but not necessarily be dynamic. The more dynamic a sound or performance is, the less perceived loudness it has. To make it less dynamic but still sound dynamic, one of my favorite tools is a clipper. So I like to introduce a soft clipper. Soft clipping usually causes distortion, but when used subtly, it might just work. We definitely got louder, we are in the -4s, which is very encouraging, but there is this super loud mastering plugin called Master Plan. I'm gonna combine it with Ozone and see if I can get this mix into the -3s. We kind of did it, we actually got to -3 LUFS. I don't hear any distortion at this part of the song and it even sounds decent. I wanna pull up our tonal balance control again to check if we are still in the recommended curve. Yes, we are, but what about our dynamics? To check this out, I'm gonna play it from the drop and see if it gets crushed by the limiter. Honestly, this is definitely not the result we would want for this tune. So I wanna dial back a little bit the limiter and find the optimal loudness and dynamics. Although we got to -3 LUFS without distortion, which is still decent, this isn't necessarily what we need. We had to dial back the threshold so we could preserve the dynamics. Given the importance of streaming, we want to achieve good perceived loudness in our tracks. However, we also need to consider the dynamics, as not everyone listens to music with normalization turned on. Finding the right balance between loudness and dynamics is key to making the music feel just right for the listener. Now, if you wanna have mastering chains like this, you will find the link in the description. But if you enjoyed this video, I already picked the next topic for you. There is always more to discover, so tap the video on the screen and see you there.